I'm not sure when I met Terry, but it has to be at least the early 80s, because well, it was like she was standing at the door when I left the Secretary of State's office to recruit me to come be a lobbyist for the League again. I'm not the only person that she was standing at the door recruiting you when you left government office. It was very impressive.
As a leader of individuals, she was perceptive and alert, and she observed the individual, and she saw what your strengths were and what you needed, what you could do, and then she convinced you that you could do it. She certainly is the one who recruited me to be a lobbyist, and she of course you can do it, and yes, and let's sit down and talk about it, and that was her kind of leadership, very perceptive and very positive, and she didn't give up easily.
What I admire most about David is the way that he has a special insight where he can see talents and resources in people that they don't even see themselves, and before you know it, they're doing things that they never even thought that they could do. And I think this is a very important way to bring people into politics and democracy and getting involved, and I think that's a good thing, and that's what he does. When I met him and Terry, I learned what it was all about and the importance of people being able to have a voice. And voting is a way to express your opinion, but getting involved in the beginning and working on issues that you believe in has a much bigger impact, and that is what I learned from David McCoy.
David has taught me in ways that I think he knows, and maybe in some ways that he has no idea of what it is to be a priest engaged in public ministry, committed to inviting others to see their participation in the common life, the civitas of our community, the civic life of our community, to see that as an expression of faithfulness. David, probably more than any other clergy colleague that I've worked with over the years, has consistently taught me how to do that. And for that, I have nothing but thanks.
David has impacted me greatly on a personal level and on a professional level by believing in me as an interfaith peace builder and welcoming me into the work that he's been doing for the last 30 years. And that has meant the world to me. So I'm very happy for him and for Terry too.
You know, we talk about our mission is to get people actively involved in government. Well, how could you resist when you have these two people who made it look like the most interesting, exciting, fun thing anybody could do?
Terry embodied what Thomas Jefferson said America needed: an informed citizenry. And without an informed citizenry, you're not going to get good public policy decisions made. I read somewhere that someone referred to Terry McCoy as an inspirational leader, a dedicated advocate, and a fierce friend. And I think that probably summarizes it best. Again, what Terry tried to do is what probably is impossible in today's America with short attention spans, 24-hour news media, and that is to focus on the issues, to talk about the issues and not demonize the messenger. Too often when you attempt to explain things, and in politics we say if you have to explain, you're in trouble. But if you want to study issues, whether it's the abolition of the death penalty, which he advocated for, which is quality universal health care, it takes time to talk about these issues. But too often you can take a statement out of context, throw it on the screen, and pound the heck out of the person to the point that you have now lost the public interest in appropriate public policy making. So Terry tried very hard right to the end to say we need an informed electorate. In fact, what she did, she created the Ohio League Lobbying Corps. She wrote a book that was even used in Russia. Now, I don't know how Russia's doing with their democracy. I think a little more difficult than we are. But those are the things that I would say about Terry McCoy. Persistent, always trying, not giving up.
She recruited a whole team of lobbyists who now you walk through the State House with your league button on, and I mean, we actually have a presence now.
I think that David, as a clergy person, is very aware of how his faith and values tie into action. And I think that he's been an inspiration and a model for many people in our community of living out his faith, embodying his vision of a peaceful and just world in which all people are welcome, in which all people are safe, and in which we are able to see the beauty in our differences and build a stronger community because of those differences. David founded this organization with a friend of his, Madeline Trishelle, back in 1982 during the Cold War period. And it was a period of a lot of instability for our country. And he and Madeline felt that the issue of peace needed to be addressed, particularly for children, but as well for adults. And so he began working with Madeline, and they created a peace curriculum for children and for families, trying to get people in our community to envision what peace would look like. What does peace mean? How do we address our differences? How do we learn to see our enemies not as enemies, but as neighbors and as people with value? And so I think that in that sense, he's definitely contributed to relationship building in our community across differences. I call it bridge building.
Whatever it is, it's like he and Terry both, they don't just talk the talk, they actually walk the walk. They practice it, they don't preach it, and I love that.